The Miller's Edge with Christian Miller, two-time national champion and team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is The Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day, and hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. It's finally that day. For you guys that are here on the YouTube stream, again, we do stream live on YouTube Monday through Friday, same times that we do the radio show. You guys already know the drill, but if you haven't, check this out here on YouTube. Make sure you do that at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. Looks a little bit different today. And as you guys can see, as well as the Facebook stream, again, Tide 100.9 there as well. But layout's a little bit different, right? Funny story. Well, to tell you why real quick. So I'm sitting at home yesterday, and we get a comment. We get a comment on a stream video from yesterday, Chase. And, normally it's just basic little stuff like roll tide, this and that, and third. But I look, and this comment, Chase, like a paragraph long. So I'm like, oh, man, they must have felt strongly about the conversation yesterday. So I'm looking at I go to read the comment, and this is what it says, Chase. So I'm trying to pull up the full thing. Oh, here we go. This is what the comment we got yesterday, Chase. It goes, Chris, can you guys reduce that constantly moving ad page? It takes 90+% of the page/screen. It's annoying. The flash is flashing the same crap over and over again. And I'm pretty sure most people, like me, are ignoring the ads and focusing on you and your live guests. I sometimes have to read your lips to fully understand everything you say. That's hard to do when I can barely see your face, and I have great eyesight. That was the comment we got yesterday. And I'm sitting here like thinking, I'm so confused. So I'm like, number one, the last part, sometimes I have to read your lips. I'm like, can't really see my lips because they're behind the microphone. And two, why are you reading my lips when the audio is, unless the audio's having problems or something, but I'm like, literally you're listening to the show. And two, I'm like, these people, guys, look, if anything, you guys should thank the sponsors, right? It's not we just put that up for fun. These people support the show. Obviously, you guys are listeners or supporters. Like, we do it for you guys, but at the same time, like, the people that financially support the show like that, they put the show on. You know what I mean? So if anything, if you guys enjoy the show, you should support those, all of our great sponsors and anything. It shouldn't be a problem. And third, Chase, I'm like, maybe he doesn't get the drill. Literally, we are a radio show. Like, we're a live radio show. There really isn't even, normally with radio, you can't see anything. We just, expanded platforms and turned it into a stream as well, because I know you guys enjoy it. But you know what's funny, man? God works in mysterious ways, because instead of me getting frustrated and like, man, I kind of laughed at it anyway. But instead of getting frustrated, I said, you know what, man? This might be a good opportunity to try to take his advice, because I'll be honest with you, like, if I had a perfect layout, I wouldn't have had, the big screen in like the main part anyway, which again, it normally plays for like the first segment. Yesterday it did play, a little bit longer because we didn't have anything pulled up. But if anything, when we do play regular videos, which is why I did like it bigger, you guys can see, like, watch the content, you know what I mean, with the bigger screen. Long story short, I said, you know what, man, let me try to take his advice. Obviously, he was pretty rude with it, and again, it was very sassy. But I was like, you know what, let me just see what I can do. And come to find out, you actually can move things around. Matter of fact, I found out I can do it in live time, which is cool. Didn't know that StreamYard had done this, because in the past I wasn't sure if you could really, I guess, navigate all that stuff. So you know what's funny, man? I guess it's just a quick little life lesson, man. Instead of getting frustrated if somebody kind of addresses you kind of a rude way, or they kind of come at, you know what I mean? Like, just see if there's anything you can learn from it, which ironically, we ended up learning from it. So probably not the best way to go about it. Again, the comment was just very, I'm sure he likes the show, and maybe that's why he's yearning for more. He just wants to see my face as much as he can. That's what I got from it, Chase. But no, I'm kidding. But anyway, shout out to him again. I don't even Daryl. His name was Daryl. So Daryl, thank you. You know what? So the sassy comment actually led to a better layout. So you got what you wanted. I'm assuming we improved it, but you guys let me know. I guess you guys probably like this a little bit better. Now you don't see as much as the background. You see me a little bit more zoomed in. The ads are a little bit smaller, which again, I don't know why that really bothers you. You're just listening to me. But if anything, once we put the videos on, unfortunately, now the interviews and the other videos, and if we put football tape on, it's going to be smaller thanks to Daryl. But I guess I can always edit it and make it a little bit bigger. But just thought I'd throw that out there because I know you guys are probably like, oh, it looks a little bit different today. Well, that's why. Daryl left us a fun, friendly comment on the video yesterday, which led to new layout. But anyway, long story short, that's what happened. But thank you. It actually worked out well. We have a new layout, which I think actually is a little bit better. So shout out to Daryl for that. That being said, a couple things to dive into today on this Free for All Friday. Big talk right now is around Michigan. I know we talked with our buddy Mike up in New York yesterday about the upcoming announcement for their punishment, which did drop this morning. And pretty lengthy. There's a number of things to hit on. I don't know what you consider from it. I guess really harsh in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. We're going to review it because there's a number of things to talk about it to see what we think is the worst. But they did bring the hammer down on Michigan this morning. We'll talk about all that. Appreciate Dwight, by the way. He tagged us in something on Twitter that listed all the punishments that they did receive. So we'll dive into that. Obviously, we'll talk some Alabama football. Another scrimmage taking place tomorrow in the stadium. So maybe talk a little bit about previewing that, what we want to see in scrimmage number 2. Anybody in particular we might be looking out for. We'll discuss that. Plus, we'll always go to you guys, 205-342-9904, where you guys can call in. We can talk and discuss things, whatever you might have on your mind on this Free For All Friday, which, again, Free For All Friday means we can go anywhere and everywhere that you guys would like to go. Might be an interview or two we haven't hit yet that we might circle back to if we have a few minutes. Other than that, man, we're pretty much locked and loaded and just gonna let it rip, man. There's a few things I've been watching that I might bring up here as well, man. I don't know if you guys are like me, but there's other podcasts and stuff I tune into. Like Cam Newton's podcast is good. I know he was talking about a number of things that were interesting. Might dive into that, but we'll do what we always do. We'll let the ship sail, man, and see where it takes us. So we'll do that on the other side. But first, let me remind you about our friends, one of our sponsors right there on the beautiful slideshow that Daryl just loves so much. The Good Feet Store, presenting sponsors. Try before you buy. Nothing to lose. Make sure you guys check them out. Arch supports that are designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it. They will take care of it. Where can you find them? Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa, right there off of McFarland Boulevard. You can't miss them. They will take care of you just like they take care of me. Literally, first time I walked in there, man, I mean, while they just ran to the back, didn't even take long, but they were going to the back and grabbing some stuff. They pulled out a foot massager. I mean, these people take great care of you, man. Great customer service, which is huge for me. And they have that A+ in that category. The product is amazing, phenomenal, has helped me with a lot of stuff, whether it's quad tendonitis, like that jumper's knee type deal, but on the other side, a little bit higher, above the knee. I was dealing with all that, plantar fasciitis, and these arch supports, man, they have been game changers. So check them out. Goodfeet.com is where you can find more information in the nearest location to you. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Quick timeout. We get rolling on this Free For All Friday right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
This is Brian Finnison, owner of the venue Tuscaloosa across from Sokol Park. First, I want to thank all of our thousands of loyal customers that have supported us. But there are so many people that still don't know about the venue. There are 5 restaurants.
¿Cómo te va? Me va bien, todo bien. Lo mismo de siempre. ¿Y tú cómo estás? Q06. Me alegra verte aquí, hablando en español, como te dije. I forgot you put both hands in dirt sometimes, but it's off the edge. Man, I went back and watched your highlights during 2018. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was my senior year, man. Finally put everything together, and Man, that was a fun year, man. Definitely was a fun year. Justin, what's up? Kenji, what's going on? Happy Friday to White. What's up? Ryan, what's going on? But yeah, 2018, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, Coach Saban's system, yeah, we, playing Jack. So I was a Sam in our base, which is outside linebacker, right? Stand up, 9 technique. More of the dropper out of the two. And then when we went to nickel, we all were jacks, which, we had to put our hand in the dirt and play like that. So yeah, man, which was good though. It got me a lot of good experience. I agree with Daryl's idea. Maybe not the way he presented it though. It's nice to put a face to the noise. Yeah, 100%. No, and that's what's funny. Like, I definitely, think I like the layout better with like the bigger panels like this. But see what had happened was, so to share the screen, like where we do have the ads playing right now, but also where we play the videos, like the base layout that it gives you here, right, through StreamYard, is like it's sharing that, and it has like the personal panel small. And I just wasn't aware that you could actually customize the sizing, because I've had StreamYard for a couple of years now, and maybe I wasn't aware of it back then, but I don't think it had the same, I guess, customizable, I guess like the same level of customization. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm glad you guys like this. Again, it's funny how it works out. So it worked out well, man. Yeah, no, that's why I was kind of laughing though. It was the way he went about it. I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, is there any way you could make like you and the guest panels bigger? But like the going in on like, oh, the ads which nobody watches, and I'm trying to read your lips and I can't even, like, I mean, bro, I mean, if you like the show, I mean, like, that's one thing, but you ain't got to come at us like that, man. Like, bro, we're just trying to put on good content for you guys, man. I'm all for suggestions and just thoughts like that for sure. But let's all just respect one another, man. Come on, really. What's good, QD? Michigan's NCAA penalties are nothing compared to what Bama got in 2000. Well, that's what I was going to ask you guys. What y'all's thoughts were on it? Because I'll be honest, I was looking at them like, I mean, there's some stuff on there, but I don't know if it's anything that I'm just like, damn, like. Matter of fact, let me throw it on here. But see, it's the problem with the smaller thing, though. Let me know if you guys can read what I'm putting on the screen here, because
call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit trimfireradio.com.
See, like, is that not too small for you guys to read?
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Let me see. I can make it bigger. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, we're going to dive into things here. All right, we were talking a little bit about Michigan early on in the first segment. And here's what they got. The long-awaited, I guess, punishment for Michigan finally was announced this morning. And this is what you got. 4 years of probation, financial penalties, $50,000 fine plus 10% of their budget for the football program, a fine equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue sharing associated with the 25 and 2026 seasons, a fine equivalent to the cost of 10% of the scholarships awarded to Michigan's football program for the 25-26 academic year, a 25% reduction in football official visits during the 2025-26 season, a 14-week prohibition on recruiting communications in the football program during probation period. Connor Stallions received an 8-year show clause order restricting him from all athletically related activities during the show clause period. Jim Harbaugh also received a show clause order of 10 years restricting him from all athletically related activities during the show clause period. which will begin on August 7, 2028, at the conclusion of his 4-year show cause order from a previous case. Dear God, he's out of there. Denard Robinson, 3-year show cause order restricting him from all athletically related activities during the show cause period. And Sharon Moore, current head coach, a 2-year show cause order during which he is suspended from a total of 3 games. Michigan self-imposed a 2-game suspension for Moore during the upcoming 25-26 season. The panel determined that a suspension for 1 additional game was appropriate. Therefore, Moore will also be suspended for the first game of the 26-27 season. Apart from the 3-game suspension, Moore is not prohibited from engaging in coaching or other athletically related activities during the show cause period. So that's their punishment. Chase, I mean, when you see all that, I mean, I know it's a lot. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think it was a lot? Do you think it was strict? Do you think it wasn't enough? What are your initial thoughts on that?
I think it was more of an example. I don't think it was strict enough because their national championship is still in Ann Arbor. They didn't lose that part. 1 game for Sharon Moore, you might as well just take him out to practice. Honestly, that didn't really do much. And then for what makes me laugh about this with Jim Harbaugh, he's never coming back to college football. What does 10 years do? He's probably going to retire by then. And then with Connor Stallions, he's probably going to have to change like a job career because with this lingering on his resume, I don't see him coaching again. So I think Michigan got away from this. And then how much money they're being penalized too with where NIL is and how much Michigan, the brand is. I think they could definitely come back from this. It may not be immediate, but over time, they won't really lose a step because Michigan football is back. Even though they've had kind of a down year last year, and ever since JJ McCarthy went to the NFL, things have kind of been stagnant. But I feel like with the Big Blue, like they'll get back on their feet. But I just feel like this punishment didn't really do anything. Now it is a warning for any other team that tries it, like the way Michigan does it, because I feel like they'll put a bigger foot down with it. But I don't know, Christian. I just felt they kind of got by with it, and it's just kind of business as usual with the NCAA.
Yeah, no, I think you make perfect sense, man. And I agree. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say slap on the wrist, but it doesn't feel like it was as harsh as it really could have been. Again, the background on this whole thing, I mean, this was centered around Connor Stallions, who was listed in here, who was accused of orchestrating that wide-reaching operation, scouting opponents in person. So allegedly, dude was like, on taking flights, on location, scouting, signals and opponents and getting as much intel as he could, which obviously that is prohibited under NCAA rules. Now, they did say this, though. Sign stealing during games is legal, right? Which, I guess makes sense. I mean, if someone's communicating something on the sideline, just like, when we would be playing, we technically would try to pick up on things. So, like, me as an edge guy, if I'm sitting there, and it would be more like sound cues, right? So, like, if I'm sitting here and the quarterback's over here, he's going rock, rock, rock. And every time he says rock, I notice they're going to, I don't know, they're running to the right? We're picking up on that. Then we go to the sidelines and we're going to discuss that. Or if I look over, if I see him, flashing a signal to a receiver and he's like tapping the top of his head, and obviously they end up going to fade to that receiver, we know, all right. And they've done that a couple of times. Hey, I'm going to go tell the DBs, hey, every time he's tapping the top of his head, he's signaling that receiver run a fade. Stuff like that. So I guess, that's one thing. But sending people out on trips to go literally I guess scout these people. Yeah, no, can't do that. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, Chase. I don't know, man. I feel like it was just kind of, I don't know. I feel like it could have been more. Dr. Crystal says, so basically go to your room and play with your toys. This is a joke. Mike says no one's afraid of the NCAA anymore. That's kind of what it feels like, right? My thing is, I'm wondering this. Could they have technically taken back that national championship, right? We've seen them do that in the past with other things. Did they not feel like that was maybe something to put on the table? Did they even have it on the table, or did they and they just chose not to? That's what I'm curious about, Chase, because correct me if I'm wrong, but this stuff was taking place around that time, wasn't it? Like around the time of them winning national championship, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, because right here it says on this other post, despite capturing the 2023 national championship after his resignation. So technically it was after, but I think it was like the year prior that this was going, but still really close in time. I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, like the fine stuff, they'll get over the fine stuff. Like, and that to me is really a big, really, if you look at it, I think what it boils down to, you got a bunch of fines and you got show causes for these coaches, which Connor Stallions, I don't even know how much of a coach he really, well, I mean, what was his role? I don't even think he was like a big role. So, I mean, sucks for him, but he completely deserves it, earned it. But how does that really affect? Michigan doesn't care about that guy. He was a pawn. Jim Harbaugh, he's off to the league. Yeah, like you said, he's not returning anytime soon, but he's in NFL, and I'm sure he's probably he won him a championship in college. I mean, I'm sure he's chilling as long as he can, stay coaching the league. Now, if something happens there, he can't really return to college. But again, I mean, he's kind of on to bigger and better things. And then the Sharon Moore thing, I mean, 2-year show cause order, but 3 games total. I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, man. Doesn't really seem like it was taken. I wouldn't say like taken very serious. Maybe they just thought the money side of things would hit hard, but to me, I don't think it was enough. I think they deserved more. I mean, does this actually prohibit other teams from really going? Obviously, I don't think people straight up go out there and do what they did. I mean, that would just be stupid, but I just don't know if it was enough to even kind of send a message. But I think I agree with Mike. I think at this point, people kind of just look at the NCAA as a joke. I mean, and it's probably almost like, well, how much say do they really even have in all this stuff? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, like 25% reduction in football official visits. They'll find ways around that. I don't think that's going to really be anything crazy. The 14-week prohibition on recruiting. I mean, like, bro, I mean, they'll survive all of that. Like the money stuff, again, you can always come back for money. So personally, my take is I think it was weak. That's my take. Curious to see what you guys think on it. 205-342-9904 is the number. We're going to go ahead and hit a timeout. We come back. We're going to go to the phone lines, and then we'll dive into a little bit more Alabama talk, because I definitely want to talk about the scrimmage coming up tomorrow, what we're expecting from that, or what we want to look out for in that. But you guys know the drill, man. When you guys are ready to talk, we're going to. We already got a couple folks lined up, so that's what we'll do when we come back after this quick timeout on this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll be right back.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer
Definitely was on mute. Sorry about that. What I was saying was I agree with what you're saying, Ryan. We can just kind of just keep fooling with it. I just got to make sure I don't mess it up too much. But like now I'm moving it around. But my thing was we always were like streaming or showing a video anyways. That's why I wasn't tripping on it, because I mean, more than probably 75% of the show, we were always pulling stuff up. But yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good suggestion though. I can kind of just fool around with it like this. But then I got to figure out when we do pull up another guest comes on here. See, that's the thing. It's all good. We'll keep trial and error, man. Trial and error. We'll keep messing around with it. But I appreciate the suggestions, man. And especially the polite suggestions, man. That's I appreciate that. Bounce it back to the old view. Yeah. Because as a matter of fact, and I think I can easily do that like this. Boom. There you go. All right. Hey, man. We're learning. So there you go. So if we want to pull something up, just click that, boom, and then back to the main thing. All right, good deal. That'll work. What I'll do too is I'll matter of fact, I should because like when my dad hops on here, I'm gonna have to clear room for him on this one. That way I can just click it easily. Or you know what? I can make a third one. That's what I'll do. I'll make a third one. See, now we're cooking, guys. I'll make a third layout that I can easily just click, a custom one. I'll do it after the show because I don't think he's hopping on here today. And that way, when he comes on, I just click that, boom, and you got both of us bigger, and then like the shared part smaller. Good deal, man. Now we're cooking. Cooking with hot grease, man. And we got Chase's little box in the top corner hiding up there at the Tide 100.9. That way we're connected to the station. Good deal, man. That's what I'm saying. Listen, man. Blessing in disguise, man. You never know, man. Sometimes it comes in a way you weren't really anticipating, but
6829.
look what happened, man. That sassy comment turned into a learning lesson for me, man. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Chase, I was on Twitter real quick to see if any big news had popped up. And why is Drewski on First Take this morning talking football? I mean, like, I feel like Drewski does all these side quests. And if you guys don't know who Drewski is, he's like an internet comedian, internet personality, but it's the most random thing. Because like I've seen him on like a Fox News like panel talking about the stock market. He had posted a video like I don't know why these people ask him to do this stuff because he's so unserious. And he's literally sitting next to Stephen A on First Take this morning talking about Shador after his first preseason game, man. I don't know how he gets these gigs, but hey, man, shout out to Drewski. That's just so random. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Ragged Glory up first. Ragged, welcome in.
Hey, good morning, Christian. Thanks for taking the call, you guys.
Oh, of course.
It's been a minute. I want to tell you right now, you're doing a great job with your show. I just want you to know that.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love you, all your comments. I love your dad and everything you guys interject. But I'm going to comment on this whole thing coming down with Michigan. If all this is holding water, and these are the penalties and fines and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is not just a carpenter's hammer. It should be a dadgum wrecking ball. Now, I lived through a time when I was living in Southern California and the Trojans, USC Trojans were my team, they got sanctions. They couldn't even go to a bowl game. So I'm thinking this whole thing is a little bit too light of a punishment on the University of Michigan. And Jim Harbaugh is directly involved, and I hope it resonates over into his butt where he carries his wallet and happens because of Jim Harbaugh, I cannot root for my Los Angeles Chargers. I still call them San Diego because I go way back. And no, I can't even root for them this year. So I still think this is just a passy way and a slap on the hands, but I wouldn't allow Michigan to play for any bowl game at all. Yeah, hairball left because he saw this coming down the track. And I'll tell you, I just hope it comes for him to pay the price, honestly.
Yeah. No,
I mean, that's really all I got to say about this. I'm very passionate about football, college, and the NFL.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, and I agree with you, Raggy. I just saw this too, and this had come up, and I think QD had asked this in the chat or mentioned this about the postseason ban, like they didn't have anything like that. But allegedly, this is on 3 reporting that this is why they did not give Michigan a postseason ban. Allegedly, the panel determined that a postseason ban would unfairly penalize student athletes for the actions of coaches and staff who are no longer associated with the Michigan football program. So that is their reasoning, I guess, for not presenting a postseason ban, because they didn't want to punish the athletes. So they felt the fines and the show causes more directly punished the people actually involved. They didn't want too many of those punishments to fall on the student athletes themselves, which I get that point, but at the same time, I feel like it would have sent a stronger signal if they did the postseason ban, because that really hits home. And I think a lot of people, I mean, that the fan base, I guess you shouldn't punish the fan base either. It's not their fault, but I kind of understand where they're coming from, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about the wrecking ball. How many of these athletes are still on the team? You know what I mean? And They were all a part of this. So, you know what? Reduce their pay for play. Now, enter the portal. Get out of there. No, this university needs to be punished. And I'm sorry. It's a wrecking ball, not a sledgehammer or a carpenter's hammer.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. And I think a lot of people share that opinion, Raggy, that it wasn't enough, but they made their decision. It is what it is. I think at this point, I mean, we just got to move forward, but I'm just surprised. Shoot, I'm shocked they didn't mention the national championship, man. I'm surprised they didn't try to go after that. But like I said, I guess it is what it is, man. At this point, you just roll with it, man. They chose what they chose, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Who would they have given the national championship to? Or is that just a null and void topic? Oh well, it's up for grabs.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And that's the thing that kind of punishes the players that did win that as well, that weren't involved. And you're right. I mean, I don't. To me, anytime they took away a national championship, like for instance, like something like if it was like a Reggie Bush type situation, and they take away games or whatever. In my opinion, I do understand how that's like. If you're taking that away from the other guys that had nothing to do with receiving this or that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a perfect answer for this. Does this feel light? Yes. But like I said, I guess you got to accept what they decided to go with.
Resonates inside Jim Harbaugh's butt. Oops. Did I say that on the air?
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Khaki Pants. Oh, man. He's forgot about it now. He's off in L.A. living his best life. So he probably could care less. And he walked away with the national championship. He walked away with the national championship, and he's off at L.A. coaching the NFL. So he probably could care less.
I know, right? And I can't even root for my Chargers, even though I love Justin Herbert. Oh my goodness gracious,
man!
So now he's also got Najee, which I have a problem with, and now I got Harbaugh coaching, and I'm like, Justin, get your agent on the line, man.
You might need to find a new team. It might be time to find a new team, Raggett.
Oh, I'm a diehard, always will be 49ers and San Diego Chargers. I go all the way back to John Adel and Lance Alt, man.
Wow.
So I went through all the. Oh yeah.
Dang.
Air Coryell, do you remember that? Have you ever heard of that term? Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow. I mean, the longest game in NFL history with the Miami Dolphins. Oh, my goodness. So, I got a little something about something there, but, man, I can't pull for my Chargers this year because I do not like Jim Harbaugh, period.
I understand, man. I understand. That's a tough spot to be in, but I get it.
I had to go back to my Bay Area favorites. I got to go with Pete Carroll and the Raiders for the AFL on the West Coast.
I like Pete Carroll, man. He seems like a great guy. I've never really been around him, but he seems like a good guy.
Yep, he had to get out of USC because of something that went on. He said, "You know what? I ain't going to deal with this. This is all on you. goodbye, and went to Seattle. And look what he did.
Yeah, he kind of was in a similar
He
spot.
didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, I mean, USC. It was something behind the scenes that went on, and man, they got sanctioned hard.
But he
So the
was
Trojans
there. He was there when that happened, right? That was his time at USC, right? Pete
It
Carroll?
happened, and it happened afterwards. I mean, he lost to Texas at the Rose Bowl for the championship, and hey, Digger, that's the only time you guys can even claim a national championship. But yeah, you know what he said? I can't deal with this. You know, even Nick Saban, man, he saw this thing coming down the pack with the NIL and everything. He goes, man, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. And there it is. There.
Yeah, I want to say Pete Carroll was involved in that deal, but I think he left before the sanctions came or something like that. But I don't know. But I'm reading somebody's tweet. It says USC was punished for 7 years, a 2-year bowl ban, 30 revoked scholarships, 14 vacated wins, 1 vacated title, 1 vacated Heisman, and the end of a dynasty because Reggie Bush's parents leased a house they found from a wannabe NFL agent. So if that's the deal, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, that's kind of insane that Michigan only got what they got and USC got hit that hard. And it was like, paying a guy or I guess, leasing a house or something like that versus a team literally going out and performing acts to get a competitive advantage and just cheat, right? I mean, giving a guy some money or a house, whatever is one thing, but literally cheating that is helping you win football games. Nah, man, I'm not going to lie. I just got reminded of how I forgot how much USC really got hit with. But now I'm like, it honestly is laughable what Michigan got hit with. It's a joke.
See, and why can't that wrecking ball crush that campus? I don't know.
Yeah. Now I say that
it is what it is, and we got to live with it.
Exactly. I mean, it's like on one hand, like I understand not wanting to penalize the players that weren't involved because it was coaches doing it and they didn't probably have an idea or they weren't involved, but on the other hand, it's like that. Wow, how do you go from what you did to USC for something way less, and then now? I mean, this is a joke. I get it now. Sorry, at first, guys, I was like, I mean, they hit them with show causes and this and that, but I was like, I didn't seem that bad. But now comparing it to USC, oh no, that's laughable. That's laughable, man.
Christian, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me try to get my point out, man.
Absolutely.
I'm frustrated, but it's okay. Roll Tide, roll. And we're going to go undefeated.
Oh, wait, Ragged. I told you the rule is if you guys throw that out there, you got to give me reasons. Give me reasons now. Give me reasons. Talk to me.
It's called believe. Mindset. You look at your opponent, you know what they're going to do, you go and attack. If something's not working, change it up.
Wait, how do you know what they're going to do, though? Are you saying that we're pulling a Michigan? We're taking signals?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to do that kind of stuff because we are going to bring the wrecking ball. We may have some close games. I'll give that because the competition in the SEC is enough. But every game, understand who you're playing, how to attack them. If something's not working, change it up. There's a plan A, of course, your starters. There's a B and a C. Don't let them stagnate you. That's how we're going to win, and we're going to go all the way.
Hey, I'll take it, man. You gave me a reason. That's all I can ask for. I appreciate that, Ragged. You have a great weekend.
When you play the game, thank you. When you play the game of football, you believe. I've been there, done it. So
that's right. Thank you, Ragged. We appreciate you, buddy.
You got to love it. Guys, have a great weekend. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You too, man. Good deal. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We got others lined up on the phone lines. We'll keep talking about this. Plus, we definitely will dive into some Alabama talk, like I mentioned. Scrimmage number 2 taking place tomorrow. You got your starter named. Got a competition for quarterback 2 spot. who's that going to be? That is something to pay attention to. That's a big deal, right? Don't lose sight of that. I know we got all the attention on Ty right now being the starter, but backup job is important. You never know what can happen or when your number is going to be called. So we'll talk a little bit more about what to expect for scrimmage number 2 coming up right here on this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Go inside the...
But that was never consideration when they punished other teams in the past. If I was a team that received postseason bans and the coaches' players were gone, I assume that's a great point. Yeah, and I didn't really think about that initially. Like the other punishments, they didn't take that into consideration. Just like with the Reggie Bush thing, like you're punishing all his other teammates just because one player was involved in something. It sounds weird that all of a sudden they have this like soft spot, like, oh, we don't want to punish the players that weren't involved, even though I think that does make sense. You know what I mean? But you're right. But if you didn't have that energy with everybody else, I don't see that as fair. I totally understand. Bottom line is Michigan could never get past Ohio State or beat teams like Alabama in the playoffs until all this greasy stuff surfaced. If they don't want to punish the current team, that's fine. Then take all the wins away from the team in the title as well. That's why I kept saying that. I'm shocked they didn't try to go after the title a little bit. What else we got in here? Hey, Christian, do you think Ty will scrimmage less this Saturday since he's been named starting quarterback? And the focus might be more on the competition for Russell and Austin Mack in that backup role. That's a good question. That's a really good question. But no, I don't think he'll scrimmage less. If anything, because I think once you name that starter, now you turn your focus to, all right, let's get everybody, let's build some continuity. Let's get everybody gelling together, around him, right? Like, let's establish and strengthen those connections with the receivers that we anticipate being, our top guys. Let's get our offensive line unit, figured out. That way we know who's going to be blocking for him. You want to just start building up and strengthening that unit the best you can. So I don't think he takes a step back, but I do think there will be good emphasis on the other two guys, though, because you do need to establish that backup role. Granted, I'll be honest with you, when you have two guys like Mack, who's had a really strong camp, and then Keelan, who's just really talented, just having to get up to speed, I'll be honest with you, in a situation like this, it's almost like, I'm not saying you can't go wrong, but I feel like you're kind of in a good spot, But I think really what it's going to come down to is which of those two guys is the most trustworthy option. I think that's really about what it's going to come down to, But you do think about other things. Like, Keelan, is a highly rated guy. I'm not saying you make decisions just to keep somebody happy, but I think that is something to maybe consider that. If he's technically listed as quarterback 3, and he's top recruit, it might not sit great. If I had to guess, I think they're going to keep those guys kind of in competition for quite some time. But I feel like really it's almost like a toss-up. They both have had really strong showings, but I do think Austin Mack's a little bit further along in terms of just understanding, which makes complete sense. He's older. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, we just got done talking to Raggett, and let's go back to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We've got Pat up next. Pat, welcome in.
Hey, man. How you doing?
What's up, Pat?
I'm getting concerned. I'm hearing all these talking heads and stuff talking about Alabama's defense can't stop water through a paper bag. I'm beginning. When you told a lie often enough, it goes all the way back to Joseph Goebbels, I think, with Hitler. But you told a lie often enough to the masses, pretty soon they start to believe it.
Mhm.
But is this defense going to wake up and be just bad to the bone? What's your impression? I know you've watched them some, Christian.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Look, I wouldn't I wouldn't jump to too much based off what you've heard or, basically because we only had one scrimmage, right? And I know it's easy for, people to because I mean, look, there's people out there that had former players out there. I'm sure people been talking, just like, people breaking down what Coach DeBoer said. And I think it was evident that, initially, defense kind of had to get their stuff together. Offense kind of jumped on them a little bit earlier on, and they kind of found their groove as it went on. But that's not the first time I've seen that. As a matter of fact, I mean, I remember last year, it was kind of like that at one point. I can't remember if it was a spring or fall camp, but I remember watching. I was like, "Dang, man, defense kind of we're struggling right now." Then we kind of found our groove and found our niche. But I would say this, Pat, in terms of just my overall impressions, I think they're going to be all right. I mean, you've got a lot of guys to work with. I think when you look at from front to back, back to front, I mean, there's a lot of guys, a lot of reasons to be excited. I think the biggest thing with this defense is, they're having to, you bring back a lot of starters, but at the same time, I'm sure it's going to feel a little bit different, even with those new guys. We've heard Kane Womack talking about, wanting to do things a little bit different. So, look, I mean, you look at scrimmage number one, it could have been, they're implementing a lot of new things and they're trying to kind of, see what works, see what doesn't. So I think they just need some time. But to me, I'm not overly concerned. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I just look at what they did last year. The guys coming back, I think once they kind of just, settle in, kind of get up to speed with the install, I think it will start coming. I just know in training camp, there's a lot thrown at you, especially like the first part in that first scrimmage kind of comes quick. Normally, the second scrimmage, you see a good response. If you have a unit that does kind of, struggle a little bit in that first one, they normally respond pretty well. So that's what I'm anticipating. I anticipate them to respond a little bit better in the second scrimmage. And I think they'll just keep getting better and better as, the course of the year goes on. But I wouldn't worry too much, Pat. Like, are there some question marks for me still? Yeah. I mean, I still want more guys to step up with pass rush. I still want more consistency stopping the run. But I think those things should come along. Will we have just those elite guys that, I feel good about just going and getting after it on third down? I'm not sure. It's still, to be determined. I mean, I trust LT, I trust Quay, but there's not a whole bunch. I mean, Jordan Renaud, I think, can make some stuff happen, but outside of them, man, it's kind of, I don't know. But I do know there's also the opportunity to by committee approach, and whether that's calling pressures or just mixing things up, stunts, stuff like that. I think we'll see a number of things called, and just to find ways to be effective. And I think that's what you just got to wait and see kind of how it ends up playing out. But I'm not concerned, Pat.
All right. So, do you think that it's possible that this offensive line is starting to gel more than and quicker than what we thought they would? I mean, the potential of the players are there, the ability seems to be there, and that I thoroughly believe that Ty, as far as a short yardage quarterback, is superior to what we had last year. That Jalen was a great long ball thrower. I'm talking a great long ball thrower. But every game that I watched, our short yardage passing left a lot to be desired. What do you think?
Yeah, I think when you look, the first thing you mentioned, offensive line. I do believe when you watch the scrimmages, you have to kind of determine, right? Like, all right, did our defensive line just struggle in pass rush? Did our offensive line really just play really well? And I think I would say this, not even just the last scrimmage, but just overall through camp, man. The offensive line looks solid, and I'm not gonna lie, that to me is really encouraging. So to answer your question, yes, I think this offensive line unit has taken some really nice strides, and I think they're playing some really good football, and they're trending in the direction that you would want them to be trending. Especially given the last few years, we haven't really had that same dominant level of play from our offensive line unit. In terms of the second part with some of just like short intermediate stuff, could there be more consistency there with Ty? Yeah, I mean, I think so. Maybe he, is a little bit more consistent in that area, but I still think, for all those things to just be as smooth as possible, you still need all the other 10 guys doing their job as well. Because I believe Jalen can make those throws as well. I mean, we just watched him in that game with Seattle, and he was hitting all the short intermediate routes. I mean, I used to watch him last year do the same thing. I mean, again, consistency, yeah, that was something that he needed to work on, but I do know even making those throws, which are normally easier throws, when you have pressure in your face, when you have a number of things, maybe a route not being perfect, it's not always going to be as easy as it should be. That being said, I do think Ty is comfortable doing all that stuff. I know he's capable of doing it. I've seen him do it. You add to that the offensive line performing better, receiver room even better. I think you will see, without a doubt, an increase in the passing game. But I just want to remind people, it's not only just because of one factor being the change at quarterback. I think a number of things have been elevated and will be better, and I think that also contributes to why the passing game will be better this upcoming season.
Gotcha. Hey, I appreciate you taking my call, sir. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Thank you, man. You too, man. Thank you for calling. Good deal. But no, he's got a great point. But here's the thing, Jalen, Ty. I know so many comparisons and stuff, but yeah, Ty definitely is more of a fit for an offense like Kalen DeBoer wants to run. Like there's no denying that. But I do think like the efficacy and everything will be improved. But again, not just because of one guy, but I genuinely believe when you look at not even just last year, but last couple of years, man, there's just a number of things that we weren't doing at as high as a level as we needed to be doing. And that makes guys' jobs harder. But right now, I just think the overall offense, right? I think Ty looks good. I think the offensive line's playing better. The running back room, they're having a strong camp. Obviously, the receiver room looks really strong. I think it's no different than any other thing, right? I mean, when you have a number of things working together, right? If you have one bad thing, that's one thing. But then when you have multiple things that just aren't firing on all cylinders, right? You're not going to get the highest performance possible. Even if you had the main component being perfect, if the things around that main component, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I always go to car analogies, but like an engine, right? Like if you have little things around the engine that aren't strong, then it's not going to run at its highest performance. So I don't know. Try to look at it like that. If that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That's how I think. That being said, we got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this free for all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
Week 2 of the NFL preseason continues on Friday night. First, the Titans will be taking on the Falcons with kickoff at 7 Eastern. Then the Chiefs will be taking on the Seahawks in Seattle.
Snap and actually get the coaches a chance to see what all players, can do, when it's a live period, what they all could do when things go wrong, people fight against adversity.
Gotcha. He mentioned it was your best scrimmage performance he'd ever seen. What was just different for you compared to the past?
Especially from last year, you always got to find ways to get better, so I found the little things that I need to work on, and just improve the time I had until the scrimmage.
Gotcha. What were the little things you need to work on?
The main thing was like making people miss, breaking arm tackles, being able to picking my feet up, if I get tripped up, just picking my knees up and just be able to keep running.
Gotcha. How do you go about kind of drilling that stuff during the off season?
It's mainly Coach G. He's, during Indy drill, he take us through that type of simulation drills or whatever. And, we take that drill and we actually put it in game situation.
Gotcha. Obviously, we got to ask about Ty. What's made him kind of get to this point?
Ty been waiting his turn, like 4 years now. And, it's not only Ty, but all the other quarterbacks, Keelan, Austin Mack, they all great. And, and unfortunately, Ty ended up getting that strong position. But, it don't matter who's in the game, each and every one of them going to go in there and make plays.
What was your reaction to Ty officially being named the starter?
Everybody, we really didn't know who was going to be the starter, and once they announced who's going to be the starter, we all had that mindset. It's like, okay, it's time to go work now. It's time to, prepare ourselves, and get ready for the season.
What are just some of the differences that you expect to see between Jalen Milroe and Ty besides just running, obviously?
They're pretty much the same. Both of them could throw. Of course, Jalen Milroe got the speed, but other than that, they're pretty much the same.
What have you thought about kind of guys sort of below you on the depth chart here, Rich and Daniel Hill, Dre? Like, what have you seen from those guys?
Oh, them guys physical. Practice today. Even during the scrimmage, them guys fast, physical, and it don't matter who's in the game. Each and every one of them go make plays.
Can you tell me about your relationship with your O-line?
Oh yeah, we got a great relationship. Pretty much try to hang out with them, every day. At least talk to a few of them. Just to build that relationship with each other.
Are there any differences with Coach G over the last couple of years, would you say?
Last year and a few years, we didn't go as far as we wanted to. Mm-hmm. So, in this mind, he got to, find ways to get us better, for us to help the team out.
What are the ways maybe that you've been here, obviously, this is nothing new to you, that you've improved the most
tonight's
to,
low
like you say, help the
74.
team get better?
Tomorrow, partly to
on an everyday
mostly
basis?
sunny with only isolated thunderstorms around. The high 93. I'm James Spann with the Alabama Weather Network on Tide 100.9. It's 89 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Oh, there we go. Golly, man. I was on mute. Whoops, sorry about that. Welcome back in to the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, hour number 2 on the way. Dang, I'm normally great about that. I normally never leave myself on mute. I've done it twice now today. Sorry. Maybe it's the new layout, man. We're getting used to the new layout here on the YouTube stream. Again, we are streaming live on YouTube and the Tide Facebook page as well if you guys want to watch me do the show. Fresh new layout, thanks to Daryl and his comment last night. So if you guys want to check it out, man, please do. Completely free to do so. All we do is ask you guys drop a like, subscribe, and that keeps everything free. That being said, all right, let's roll into hour number 2. We talked a little bit about the Michigan punishment. If you guys are just joining in again, the big news came out: 4 years probation, big fines across the board. Fines and limits on recruiting spending. Cuts to that. Connor Stallions, Jim Harbaugh, Denard Robinson all hit with show cause orders from 8 to 10 to 3 years. And then Sharon Moore, like a 3-game suspension. So most people, I think, agree that this is pretty much a slap on the wrist, especially when you look back like we just did and see that Southern Cal, they got hit with 7 years, bowl bans, 30 scholarships revoked, 14 wins vacated, a title vacated, a Heisman vacated. And this team that also just won a national championship didn't have that touched, and all it really was the money. And the reasoning is allegedly because, we don't want to punish the guys who weren't involved, right? Which, again, I understand that, but that should have been the case from the get-go if that's really how you felt, especially with like Southern Cal. One guy, I guess, was involved in receiving some improper benefits, money, whatever the case, or house lease, whatever. But you punished everybody and everybody for years to come, but had nothing to do about it. Or nothing to do with it. Excuse me. So I don't know. But that was Michigan's punishment. We heard from that. And I don't know. You guys can still let me know what you guys think on that if you haven't already chimed in on that. Scrimmage number 2 comes tomorrow here in Tuscaloosa Bryant-Denny Stadium. Again, Ty Simpson starting quarterback. Obviously, we already know that. So you can check that off the list. The quarterback battle technically has come to an end, but not really, because you still have to determine who quarterback 2 will be, the backup to Ty. Very important position, right? I mean, I know a lot of people kind of overlook it, but you got to remember, I mean, you never know. Football, they always say injury risk is 100%. Obviously, I'm going to knock on my wooden desk right here. You don't want to talk like that, but you just never know. And you always need to have, security at that spot. The good news is these guys have all performed very well throughout fall camp, right? From Ty to Austin Mack to Keelan Russell. And so with those two guys competing for that number 2 spot, I'll be honest with you, Chase, I don't think you really can go wrong. I said earlier in the show, I really feel like it just boils down to, who you feel the most confident with. If they need to go in there and keep you alive, help you win a football game, who's that going to be, right? And normally that comes down to trust. A lot of times backup quarterbacks might not be like the, best player or whatever, so to speak. Obviously, they're a good player. You get what I'm saying, though, Chase? But you trust them to come in and keep you afloat. You get what I'm saying? And when you look at this situation, I think that's something that's going to be considered, because you got Keelan Russell, who is extremely talented, but he's still coming along, right? I mean, the guy is just fresh out of high school just a few months ago. He's still learning the system. He's still getting adapted to the game speed, all that stuff that comes with it, being fresh on campus. I understand that, whole 100% understand that. Take some time, right? And he's making great strides. I mean, I feel like I've noticed some strides from watching him in the spring to now, but still, are those strides enough to say, hey, if we need you to go in week 2, right, and play a whole half, or it could be 2 games while somebody's, you know what I mean? Like, is he ready enough to do that? I think that's what they're going to be looking out for. If I'm being completely honest with you, Chase, I think somebody asked like who I thought will be. I probably would. This is a tricky part, because I feel like, based off what I've seen, and even if you just listen to how they talk, Austin Mack is definitely a little bit ahead of Keelan Russell, which makes you think that the easy answer would just be he should be and probably will be the backup quarterback, at least initially. The problem is you're talking about a 5-star quarterback recruit that you brought in. You want to make sure you're not necessarily stepping on toes, which I don't think that should not be the main factor by any means. But at the same time, it's kind of like we know how this game kind of works, right? And that's probably the tricky part, is trying to balance those two things. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, I feel good about either one of them, if I'm being honest. And to be fair, say you do go ahead and you roll with Keelan to be the backup. Hopefully, you don't really even need him. And in that time, he's just developing. By that, say, for whatever reason you need it in week 6 or 7. By then, you're like, okay, cool. Maybe what it could work out as, and this is how I probably think like the most likely scenario would be. Initially, I think they're going to list them as like or, because they do that a lot on depth charts when they can't really have like a definitive answer. They normally say or. If I had to guess, the depth chart will probably say Austin Mack or Keelan Russell. So they're kind of like co-backups. But it's really going to lean towards Austin, at least in the initial part of the season. And then say as Keelan develops and they feel more confident and comfortable with him, maybe he slides into that more solidified backup role. But I think initially you'll see an or like the split, but it's really going to kind of lean a little bit more. Like if they really need somebody to go into like week 1 or week 2, I think Austin Mack probably would be, the first guy in there behind Ty, at least for the first part of the season. That's just my, I guess, thought process on it. That's how I feel like it's going to be. I don't know that to be true, but if what you guys did ask me, that's my thought on it. That's how I feel. Dwight asked if I was going to the scrimmage tomorrow. Probably. We'll see. Still trying to figure that out. I'm kind of on the fence. I want to go, but part of me is kind of like, I might just pass. We'll see. I don't know, because I think it's in the afternoon tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I got to pull out a schedule, but I don't know. I feel like it might be a little bit more in the afternoon, so we'll see. But more than likely, I'll probably swing by over there. LK says, so much turnover in year 1. The players on this team are 100% in for this staff. I'm impressed. Bama had 0 hit the portal. That tells me Katie has total respect with his players. Yeah, no, I think and we've talked about this, LK. But it's definitely obviously it's obvious that the buy-in is much higher this year, which makes total sense. Again, I mean, as a player myself, I've dealt with new coaches, not a new head coach, which is even more of a deal. But anytime you get new coaches, man, you got to feel them out, right? Because new coaches bring on new philosophy. They teach you things differently, especially if you really were rocking with your old coach. I mean, you gotta feel it out. And I think people, as much as they like Coach DeBoer, because I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't like him. I mean, he's probably the most down to earth guys I've ever met. But at the same time, in terms of like these guys, like they want to play at the highest level, they want to compete, they want to go to the league. And when you're looking at this guy, like, okay, he's kind of like helping me do that. Like you want to make sure you can trust him and his process. And I think it's very natural for guys to be just a little, not hesitant, but just kind of take their time a little bit, right? And I think going into year 2, these guys understand what the process looks like, why they're doing certain things, and I think that definitely will have a great effect on this upcoming season. And I agree with you; it was very impressive that nobody hit the transfer portal, especially given the number of guys that we had at certain positions. Man, I mean, a lot of these guys could easily went to the portal and made money. But they chose not to. So I definitely think that's a strong sign of the culture. That's the word that I'll use, the culture that Kalen DeBoer is establishing here in Tuscaloosa. These guys want to play for him. They want to play with each other. They enjoy it. They're getting after it. They trust in him and his process. And those are all good signs. Those are all good. So it's a recipe for success, man, when it comes to playing football. So I agree with you there. All right, let's do this. Let's hit our first time out of hour number 2. When we come back, we go back to the phone lines. I believe we have Ellis up next. We'll go to him. We'll talk with him, and we'll keep on rolling on this Free For All Friday. We get ready for scrimmage number 2 that takes place tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to that, seeing how that turns out. And obviously, we will keep you guys posted. So quick timeout. We'll be right back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTVC.
August is your time.
Shout out to Chase, keeping the show rolling. That's right. That's right. Just replace the NCAA with AI. At this point, you might as well. I use AI all the time. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm always using it for like Spanish. It's honestly crazy. Like, I just need to have like conversations in Spanish to practice. Just pull up AI or Chat GPT is what I use.
Good.
Maybe we'll play this on air because we haven't heard from him. I want to hear from him. We'll save that. Save that here in a second. What was that other thing I had bookmarked here? Oh, y'all probably don't want to see this, but
I was excited. I remember specifically how confident we were as a team. I remember Kingsbury showing AJ McCarron crying after they beat LSU. He said, "What is he crying for? They got to play Texas A&M next week."
This 3-play transition right here changes everything. It gives us the ability to win this game. So you go from the turnover on the fumble right there, swoop, wheel route down the sideline, probably the best throw I've ever had in my life. And then the next play, you get a corner route for the game winner. Such a different spot, 9 minutes left. 4th and goal, they're going.
Shazer Everett.
So good. They switch it off.
The defense told us they knew that this play was coming. They had ripped us in practice several times.
Second time in history, beat a number 1 team, take down Alabama.
What year was that, guys? You guys remember?
This was one of the best teams
I feel like that was the game I went to because that was at home. That was at Bryant Denny.
It's 2012 A&M.
Yeah, 20. Yeah. Wait. I feel like the lighting looked different though, because I remember when. Wait, hold on. No, that had to be the game that I went to. 2012. Thank you, Tim. That has to be the game that I went to, but I feel like it just looks different. But it has to be because we lost. Wait, hold on. They beat us in 2012. They beat us in 2013 too, or no? Didn't they beat us twice in a row? Or am I making that up? Because I know we went to A&M as well, and Mike Evans had a huge day. We won that game. Wait, I'm drawing a blank then. Why? What am I? So yeah, this is definitely the game I went to. This was the very first Alabama game I ever went to, which is crazy. Because I remember that play right there. That was the very first game I went to. I was sitting on the other end zone in the recruit section.
After they beat LSU,
That's crazy. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. But real quick, don't forget, we will be live at 12:25 Fridays this football season, doing the show live again. So make sure you guys kick off game day weekend the right way with us at 12:25. Really easy to remember, 12:25 on 1225 University Boulevard on the Strip. You can't miss it, right near the stadium, walking distance, all that stuff. TVs throughout, great food, burgers, wings, pizza, all that type of food, man. They've got it for you. Great drinks and great time, man. Because again, hang out with me doing the show, and really looking forward to doing it again. We did it last year. It was a great turnout, especially as the season went on, man. It kept getting better and better, and we're looking forward to running it back again this year. So make sure you guys come hang out with us, and always head on over to 1225 if you're ever looking for a place to watch games. Again, TVs throughout, great food. A lot of people, it's very popular game day weekends for sure, man. People love going and sitting in there eating and watching all the sport events on all the TV. So check it out, man. Again, 1225, right there on 1225 University Boulevard. I got this pulled up real quick. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Chase, this was interesting. This was from last night. I was trying to zoom in, but that didn't work. So I know it's hard to read. And for our radio listeners, what we're looking at is it's a statement. And it comes from former Alabama wide receiver Isaiah Bond. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he actually had found himself in some legal trouble. I think he was accused of assault, SA, down in Texas. And obviously, it derailed everything from in terms of the whole draft process and whatnot. So he went undrafted, and he was, I guess, dealing with that situation, which again, if he did that or whatever, rightfully so, he needs to still deal with it. But allegedly, this is what he released yesterday. It says, first and foremost, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Cleveland Browns. You get where this is going, for believing in me and allowing me the opportunity to continue my career in the NFL. Football has been my passion since I was 6 years old, and playing at this level is a blessing I will never take for granted. I understand that playing in the NFL is a privilege, and I'm thankful every day to live my childhood dream. I know there have been questions and reports about recent allegations. I am grateful for the decision of the prosecutor and the courts not to pursue charges. I will learn from this experience as I grow in wisdom, character, and faith. On the advice of my attorney, I will not discuss the details of this case, but I want to be clear from the beginning. I have refuted these allegations and maintained my innocence. I stand firm by that today. I want to sincerely thank the Cleveland Browns, specifically Mr. Haslam and Mr. Berry, for giving me this opportunity, my agent Damian Butler and CMV sports staff for standing beside me every step of the way, never wavering in working to resolve this matter. My attorneys, Toby Shook and Kristen Moore, for their relentless pursuit of the truth. My trainer, going on to thank other people. My focus now is football, learning this offense, building strong relationships with my teammates, and making significant contributions within the Cleveland community. I'm determined to prove to the Browns organization and everyone who believes in me right for putting their trust in me. Thank you, IB. So that was posted on the Twitter of Isaiah Bond. So if you guys are kind of wondering the update with that thing, I guess, with that case, allegedly the prosecutor decided not to pursue charges. So look, I'll just say this, man. Always, first and foremost, I mean, make smart decisions. Don't put yourself in bad situations. Now, I don't know the details of everything. I just remember the initial details, what I read. There was text messages released. I'm going to be completely honest with you. To me, from the text messages, I mean, it looked almost as if, because one of his responses was almost like, if I remember correctly, like offering to pay the young lady involved in the situation. It almost was borderline self-incriminating what he was basically saying in the text messages. How they got to the point where they decided not to prosecute or press charges, I don't know. Again, I don't like speaking on stuff that I don't really know too many details. I just remember the initial things that had come out. But at the end of the day, if they dropped the charges, I don't think that necessarily means he was proven innocent, but maybe they didn't have enough. I don't know. But I know a lot of people are kind of curious about that whole situation. So he ends up getting an opportunity with the Browns. But I think the moral of the story is, number one, need to make smart decisions, right? And then stay out of trouble. And two, I mean, especially I just don't understand, man. Like, people have all this stuff going for them, man, and they just can't help but put themselves in dumb situations that are completely avoidable. But nonetheless, that's the update to the story. And there's that. So Isaiah Bond is the newest member of the Cleveland Browns, which, interesting enough, I mean, they if any team's going to take a shot on a second chance guy, Chase, it would be the Browns. They have who else on their roster? What was it? Kareem Hunt, I think, was back and forth on their roster, and we know he was involved in some legal stuff. Their running back that they drafted from was it Ohio State? Was it Quinshon Judkins? I'm pretty sure, dealing with some legal stuff currently. And I want to say there might even be one more guy. So they obviously believe in second chances. But anyway, Isaiah Bond is getting his shot at the NFL. Will he make the roster? I have no idea. I know he's a talented player. Didn't really perform up to expectations when he transferred to Texas. I do know he's still a really good football player, but you getting signed to a team at this point in training camp, I'm going to be honest with you, not looking too great. But at least he's getting an opportunity if he is, in fact, cleared of doing any wrongdoing, but we'll see. I just think it's kind of a long shot, but there you have it. That being said, let's go back to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Ellis up next. Ellis, welcome in. Ellis, you there? Going once, going twice. All right, he might have dropped. Ellis, if you want to circle back, man, you know the drill. Chase, I know it's kind of awkward, but in terms of that whole deal, I mean, were you aware of kind of the whole situation surrounding Isaiah Bond? Did that? Do you remember the whole deal? I think we talked about it briefly a few months ago.
A little bit. I'll give shout out to Tia. She definitely kind of informed me on Twitter, kind of what was going on behind the scenes and everything. It's unfortunate. It's just crazy how many times this is happening to athletes. It is a sticky situation, so I'm trying to tread lightly, but
and I don't want to put you on the spot too.
No, you're good, Christian. You're good.
Because that's why even when I was talking about, I'm like, well, I don't really know how to, because like you said, it's sticky because I do firmly believe innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? Like, so I want to give everybody their fair chance to, I guess to prove their innocence, let them, share their side. I mean, there's so many different situations where, a lot of times, more than likely, that someone is guilty of wrongdoing, but we do know there are instances where people are falsely accused of things. But I think, and again, I know it's tricky, and I don't want to get too much into it, but from what I remember, the text message like that were released did somewhat, in my opinion, I guess, quote unquote, incriminate him to an extent, because he basically acknowledged that, golly, man, it's really treading lightly here. Obviously, one person, ended up having a change of opinion on something or change of mind on something, and he didn't necessarily respect that change of opinion in the moment. Allegedly, that's what it kind of was reading in the text messages. Then he even offered to send money is kind of like an apology or something like that. So if I'm just being completely honest with you, I mean, like reading that part of it, to me, I was kind of like that says what it says, man. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? I don't know how you really deny that. But if the court and the prosecutor decide not to press charges, I don't know. Maybe the other person involved went back, and I don't know. Who knows? I'll be honest. I really don't know. But it's just it's very sticky situation. But what was? I'm sorry, Chase. I cut you off.
No, you're all good. But I guess just a life lesson too. Just be careful what you get into, man. You just never know kind of what can pop up. And just for Isaiah, this might be his second chance. Because you said and what happened at Texas. He didn't have that breakout year. He was kind of under the radar. Didn't really perform to what Alabama fans are or what they were seeing. It was at UA.
Mhm.
But, and you're right, it is the team. Cleveland Browns is the team for them to get picked up. I remember a guy like Josh Gordon, he had his
Him too.
problems on and off the field, Johnny Manziel. There's so many players that kind of got their footing in the door, and then when they left the Browns, they kind of found it a little bit more and got it back together. But, if Isaiah is serious, he'll change for the better, and the time is limited because you are in the preseason, and the preseason goes really quickly. But, if he can kind of channel that UA bond, I think he can make the roster. But, it's just like I said, it is a sticky situation, and, but it's just the world we live in, it's just how we have to navigate it all.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you, Shay. Like I said, I know it's kind of tough. You hear me, I'm literally speaking like at 0.5 because I'm like, man, we're on live radio, and obviously,
Yeah.
he's got to be careful. But here is one thing to consider too, though I didn't initially see this. He is subject to the terms of the NFL's personal conduct policy, which means he still can be suspended. So even though he might have cleared himself in the court of law, which really is the most important thing, because I mean they needed to establish if he really was guilty or not, or had wrongdoing or enough to proceed with charges. But the next step is with the NFL. They do have the decision to, I guess, suspend him or punish him for that, which is kind of interesting how that works. Because if it's like if you've been cleared in the court of law, typically you would think that would, but I guess the NFL, they're their own entity. They can go about it however way. Because again, I do want to be clear. I mean, just because they say they choose not to pursue charges doesn't necessarily mean they didn't feel that, there was any type of wrongdoing there. They might not just had enough to proceed with. So that's why I wish I had more details in that aspect, because I'm just curious what led them to do that. Because again, I'm not going to lie to you, Chase. When I read those initial text messages, again, if someone accuses you of something and a text message comes out and you say, I apologize, and you try to send them money, I mean, that to me, like, it kind of, would you agree that kind of just, I'm not saying it means you're guilty, but it kind of, like, the writing's kind of on the wall. Don't you get that vibe?
I agree. It's kind of like writing back what happened to a degree. It's kind of like, I don't want to say covering your tracks, but initially, right? It's just like, well, why would he say that? But
Right.
yeah, you're not alone in that one. I was thinking the same thing, Christian.
Yeah. Well, allegedly, this does go on to say the Browns, they spent a lot of time scouting Bond. And if you guys remember, he ended up running, I think, like 4.39. I think he said he was going to break the combine record. Didn't come nearly close to doing that. 4.39, while it's fast, it's not anything nearly as fast as like a 4.2 or whatever the new record was. But they ended up, I guess, liking him enough from that process to, once he was cleared outside of things, they ended up taking a chance on him, which, again, we'll see if it works. I know you feel confident with him maybe making the team if he can play well, Chase, but I'll be honest with you, man, like, getting on board right now. I mean, they're gearing up to play their second preseason game. Preseason's, I mean, flying by. I mean, it's really about to be done before you know it. I mean, I think at best, you can maybe see a practice squad spot, but I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, I even think that's probably a long shot, man. Unless they just have a bunch of injuries or they're in dire need of some weapons and he just shows up and just is on fire. I still think even if he does show up, he's on fire. At best would be practice squad. And I don't think anybody will even when they waive him, I don't think anybody's probably gonna pick him up on waivers. So Cleveland probably is his only spot right now. Now, say that does go well, he's got literally. I would say this: he's probably got this one opportunity with Cleveland, and it's going to be obviously trying to make their team, but also maybe for this year, kind of prove himself as well. Because we do know, like you mentioned, Josh Gordon, some of these other guys, like if a player is good enough, if the dust settles and they're cleared of stuff, they can get some other opportunities. But he's fighting against the current, man. Undrafted, late into training camp, coming off of this type of stuff. Like the other guy at the Browns, Judkins or whatever, he was a draft pick, a higher draft pick. They're going to be a little bit more lenient with stuff. That's just the way the NFL works. You're an undrafted guy. Y'all always talk about leashes for these quarterbacks, man. If you're an undrafted guy, yeah, that leash that's a very short leash. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he gets some action in this game. They do play Philadelphia for the second preseason game Saturday afternoon. Not sure if he'll be probably dressed out. I'm not sure if we'll get to really see him, but I imagine we will. Maybe later in the game. Who knows? But keep an eye out for that. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. We'll be right back.
At Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better.
All right, back to the other format for a second. What do you guys think about that? You guys have any thoughts on that? I know it's kind of a slippery slope, man. You guys in the chat, you got any thoughts on the Isaiah Bond thing? You want to use AI for Spanish? I use Chat GPT to practice. And literally you can just pull it up and then just have a conversation with it. What I do is I'll ask, I'll basically say, give me a prompt. You know what I mean? Something to talk about. That way I'm challenging myself to learn about different things or talk about different things. Because conversation stuff, I'm trying to get, you know what I mean? Once you get to that point, you gotta start, the only way to really improve your fluency is to expand what you talk about. So I'll ask it to just give me a prompt. But I can show you. You click on the voice setting like that. And then, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal tu día? ¿Me puedes dar un prompt para practicar mi español?
Claro que sí, con mucho gusto. ¿Qué te parece si practicamos con un tema de tu interés? Por ejemplo, podemos hablar de tus pasatiempos o de algún evento reciente. Tú dime qué prefieres y te doy un prompt.
So there you go. So then it basically just said, we can practice. I can give you some topics that you like, and you just tell me which one you want to talk about. Or you can just have a regular conversation with it. Like you could literally just say, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then it'll respond. And you can just talk to it's kind of, honestly, it's really crazy how it works, man. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's really crazy. But yeah, I recommend that one. But there are other ones too, though. I know, I think there's one called, I forgot what it's called, but there's another one that's specifically designed for Spanish. It's Spanish AI. But I just use Chat GPT because, excuse me, I use it to translate as well. If I'm trying to find out how to say something specifically, because obviously there's different dialects of Spanish, you can specifically ask that. Versus a translator, you just type it in and it's it just gives you a basic translation, which might not even be right. But if I want to say how would I say this in like Dominican Spanish? How would I say this in Colombian Spanish? You can specify the exact dialect or accent. All right, let's get back to football real quick because I know these people are like, "What is he talking about in Spanish?" Pero no te preocupes, algún día voy a hacer un podcast solo en español. Esa es la meta mía. It's my goal. Is I'm gonna do a podcast in Spanish one day. That's the goal. But I'll do it on a different platform. Don't worry. I won't do it right here. So you guys will be like, what the hell is he doing? I'll start. I have a friend from the Dominican Republic. He wants to learn about football. So I told him, I was like, all right, we'll do a podcast together and you can just learn. I find there's a lot of people that want to learn about football, though, that are from Spanish-speaking countries. They don't really know about it, though.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Again, scrimmage number 2 coming up tomorrow, and a lot of people anticipating that. Obviously, already got the news on the quarterback battle, but there's a lot of other battles going on. Backup quarterback spot, people still kind of curious about some of these next guys in. I mean, even at the receiver spot, I mean, you know, the top 3 guys, but who are going to be those next guys on the field? You got a number of options, so people looking out for that. Offensive line play, I mean, I think, you know, you're kind of seeing who's kind of, you know, filling out that first group, and they're playing well, but still could be a little bit of shuffling around. Always a good thing to get guys experience doing some other stuff, so that's something to look at. QD asked about the defensive line. Any concerns there? I wouldn't say, you know, concerns, but I mean, definitely, I think in terms of defense, man, I mean, I think they're the key to the defense this year. I mean, secondary guys, I mean, you feel great about them. Linebacker play is solid. Curious about the depth behind them. I mean, you got a lot of young guys behind the top 3 guys. So if you do need some of those young guys to step up, definitely, you know, curious about that. But leaves me with the D-line. Would I call it a concern? Not necessarily. I think when you look at the top guy, like the top group, like you said now, LT, Quay Russaw, James Smith, and Tim Keenan. I mean, I think that's one of the better groups in the conference, honestly. I think it's a solid group. The problem is like getting the other guys behind that, right? Because number one, those 4 guys, they're not going to be the only guys playing. I know we talk about a lot of depth, but there's levels to depth, right? I mean, there's depth. We're like, all right, we got some solid pieces, but like the depth like we had back in 2016 was literally like, if you go back and look, I mean, literally the 3 deep all went on to get drafted to play in the NFL. So I'm more concerned about the guys coming in next, right? Like how much can they step up? Like a guy like Beeman, right? A lot of people excited about him, but like, where can we get him to? You know what I mean? Edric Hill, somebody to watch. Heard a lot of, and to me, when you hear the coordinator talk about some of the other younger guys, kind of like, well, that's interesting, right? Like, I know everybody's like, well, dang, well, that's good that they got those guys stepping up. But in my head, I'm like, does that mean they're more impressed with those guys developing right now versus the true 2s that, you know, are really gonna need to step up? But I mean, like Kelby Collins moving around, seeing kind of where he, you know, fits in. Keon Keeley, we've been talking a lot, but yeah, I wouldn't say concerns, QD, but definitely we need those guys to step up. They've got to step up. Like they like, I think it's crucial to this defense for those guys up front to play some good football and carve out some roles and be reliable guys. You know what I mean? I think that'll be huge. But speaking about scrimmage number 2, I know we're not as concerned about the secondary unit, but Xavier Brown did speak to the media post-practice the other day, and we didn't get to listen to it. And he's a guy that a lot of people are excited about. I mean, I think he's kind of the next guy in line for being, you know, the next, you know, corner coming out of here that, you know, like a Pat Surtain, you know, some of these guys that you just see, they've got that it factor. He reminds me of that, and he got to speak to the media post-practice the other day. So let's see what he had to say.
And so far, camp.
It's been good. It's been grimy. We're getting a lot of good work in.
Coach Grubb said yesterday that the defense has only made 4 interceptions against the offense in camp. Have you made any?
Yeah, I just had one today. But
Had one today, so y'all are up to 5.
we had a couple plays today. You know, we're moving around well out there, but you know, offense, they being real smart with the ball. They know our defense, and we having a lot of good battles out there.
Is that fun when the offense?
Yeah, it's a chess match out there. They know us, we know them, and it's just a good back and forth, good work out there.
Going into your second year, how much more comfortable do you feel right now?
I feel real comfortable at the standpoint of, you know, knowing what's going on around me, coverage wise, and just why we do things, and not just that we're doing them.
It's a guy like Cam Count who'd add to your
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube.
Oh, sorry guys, gotta add
background
Maybe
play.
we should get YouTube Premium.
Cam, he's very diverse. He brings high energy, and he's a great guy to be around.
It seems like when people mention Cam's name, everybody has a smile on their face. Is his like kind of attitude and demeanor? Is it something you guys kind of enjoy and feed off of?
Yeah, for sure. He brings a lot of energy to the back end, to the defense in general, and yeah, he has real high energy.
Can you give an update on what's going on at the Husky position for you guys this week?
For the Husky, like what you mean?
Who's cross-training that position? Has the starter been decided yet? Or is it
Nah,
going to be multiple?
Our DB room, we're real deep, diverse, a lot of guys moving in and out of positions and just doing whatever we can to just, you know, help us out.
Coach Womack said that you've handled some of those learning curves that come with being a young guy like a veteran. What are some of the ways maybe that's shown, and maybe what did some of those lessons teach you about playing the game at this level?
I think it just comes down to mindset and being locked in, how focused and intentional you can be, not just on the field, but off the field. You know, we're here all day, how you can maximize your off-field hours to help you on the field.
With the season basically 2 weeks away almost, what's been the biggest area of emphasis on defense in the secondary? Just something Coach Womack is preaching to you guys as kickoffs comes closer.
We're diving real into offensive recognition and just diagnosing plays, allowing us to play faster right now.
You faced Ty Simpson in practice quite a bit. How have you seen him kind of progress? What was it like whenever you guys learned that he was named the starter?
Ty's a great dude, man. He's a guy you just want to play harder for. He's a great leader, and you know I'm blessed to have him as my quarterback. And he's super smart on the field. And so, you know, when we're out there, like I said earlier, it's a chess match. He's looking at us, we're watching him. It's a good back and forth.
Is that going back to him talking about the lack of interceptions, maybe the quarterbacks and how well they played, that pushing you guys to be better as well?
Most definitely, yeah. When they doing something, we watching them watch us. So it's like we got to make sure our disguise is right, how we doing things, moving in and out of coverages, because they see it all.
How much do you guys relish facing not only them but those wide receivers in practice every day?
Our wide receivers, they're great. They give us great work. They're super diverse. They each have different strengths. So it at the end of the day, it makes us better.
What is it like to have to try to tackle a guy like Jam Miller?
Jam, he's a fierce runner. He runs hard. When you see him coming, you gotta buckle up and come with it.
From a depth standpoint, can you just talk about the depth that's in the secondary and how you guys build upon that of the season? Last season you didn't have a lot of depth. Now you got guys at multiple positions across the defensive backfield. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, we were deep in the DB position, and right now in camp we've been gaining an extreme amount of trust and being able to know, you know, our X's and O's and knowing what's going on around us. And so that's building a lot of trust for us right now, allowing us to play faster. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
How much have you now going into your second year tried to help bring along guys like Dijon and Chuck who are going into their first years?
Yeah, you know, playing with Chuck in the past and knowing Dijon, growing up around those guys is those like my brothers. So I'm trying to make sure any information I have, any way I can help them, that's just second nature for me.
Obviously, the for you're from California, Damani's from California. Your position group's typically a close-knit group. Being that you guys are all from the same area, does that make it even more close?
Most definitely, yeah. Like we growing up together, playing with Damani in high school, it's truly a blessing. Most guys can't say they've done that before.
Have you seen Dijon and Chuck kind of come along now that you're the dozen back in the ball game?
Yeah, those guys, they've been bringing such a high energy at practice, and since camp's going on, they've been progressing so well, and just I'm really excited. I'm really proud of those guys.
What have you seen from the guy like Deshaun Jones now that he's kind of been at the Husky position for a while?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a level of trust. I know what he's gonna do, where he's gonna be, and seeing him fly around, make plays, and dropping into coverage and being able to diagnose routes and stuff like that is real fun to watch.
How does Ty Simpson maybe stack up against some of those other SEC arms that you saw last year, and how have you seen him develop throughout camp?
Yeah, Ty's a pro-style quarterback. He reads the whole defense. He sees what's going on, and having a guy like that, it really helps us out, and it's a high level of competition at practice.
Off the field, I've heard from Clay Russo that you're the best bowler on the team, apparently. What are your thoughts on that?
Me and the guys, we went about bowling passes. They end in September, so before camp started like that, we was probably going every day. We bought our own balls, and just a level of bonding that's real fun, man.
Do you like being the best bowler on the team?
Yeah, those games they get up there though. 180s, 200s, they get serious.
What's your best score?
Mine's like 194, something like that. I haven't scratched 200 yet.
Is that a goal of yours?
Yeah, I mean, when we get back into it, I'm probably a little rusty right now.
Coach Womack said Quay Russaw is the freakiest guy on the team. How in terms of just his athleticism, how accurate would you say that is?
Yeah, Quay, he has it all: speed, power, intensity. I'm blessed to be able to play with a guy like that.
You probably already answered this already, but from your perspective as a defensive back, what challenge does Ty bring to the table with his mobility and being able to move around? How difficult is that to defend?
Yeah, it's a chess match. If we show our coverage too early, if we're not disguising right, he's checking out of the play. He's making his alerts and going like that. It really makes it sharper.
I don't know if someone's asked you this, but what have you seen out of John Lee so far this camp?
John, he's progressed tremendously in his ability to just sustain throughout practice, and he's extremely physical, and a long guy like that, he makes a lot of plays on the ball.
Xavier, a lot has been made about how quarterbacks have returned too many interceptions in camp. What's been your perspective on that, and making sure you guys still get takeaways?
Yeah, with Ty and Austin back there, Keyline, it's been a chess match. Those guys, they're a real tight knit group too, so they all work together, they talk together all day, so they're all on the same page. We're all on the same page defensively, and so it's a lot of back and forth going on. If we're showing coverages too early, not disguising right, it's a lot of checks, it's a lot of mental games out there.
Do you feel like going up against Ryan Williams just about every day in practice makes you a better player since he's one of the best receivers in the country?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm blessed to be able to play with a guy like that. He's a tremendous athlete, great human, great teammate, and yeah, he makes everybody better.
Last two.
How exciting is it going to be in a couple of weeks just to face a different jersey, play somebody else?
Yeah, we're really internal right now, focusing on day by day. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
Nick Saban used to say, I will name a starting quarterback when they win over the team. How has Ty won over the defense, or has he yet?
Yeah, Ty, he's a leader, man. I'm extremely glad that's my quarterback. He's the type of guy, he's a guy's guy. Makes you want to play harder for him. And, yeah.
All right, so there you go. That was Alabama cornerback Xavier Brown. If you guys haven't seen him without his helmet on, funny enough, I know QD made the comment. He said he looks like a kid. He does look young. Granted, he is young. I mean, he's maybe 19, but I remember last year when I used to see him, I was like, dang, that dude does look young. But he plays a lot older than he looks. I'll say that. He's definitely a really good football player. But a couple of things he mentioned, talking about the quarterbacks, man. I know a lot of fans probably excited to hear him talk about that chess match offensively. A lot of people obviously talk about last year feeling like we weren't, able to do some of those things in terms of checking in and out and, getting our offense really in good positions. But it sounds like, man, they've definitely taken that step offensively in terms of being able to really, just put themselves in the best positions, given what they're getting defensively. And it sounds like our offense is really challenging our defense right now. I mean, you can even tell, like, when they asked about the interceptions, like it to me, it sounds like the case where they're probably getting on to these guys. Hey, we need to force more turnovers. Obviously, that's going to always be a defensive emphasis, but really, with Kane Womack, that's what he wants to do. And he's probably not too happy knowing that those turnovers haven't really come just yet. But on the flip side, that's a really good sign offensively. But to me, I'm still going back to the same thing I always say, man. Pass rush is one of the greatest pass defenses, man. And maybe we're just not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. Because I'm just telling you, man, you get pressure on the quarterback, it forces air throws, it forces tips and overthrows, and that's what leads to interceptions. So personally, I know everybody's probably looking at, the secondary needs to get more play or get more picks and whatnot. But the first thing I'm thinking is pass rush, man. Pass rush would help that out. It definitely would help that out. Chase, we're kind of in like an awkward time. We can do this. We'll hit our timeout now. And when we come back, we'll just do a quick little close here to wrap things up on this free-for-all Friday. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll be right back.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with
Jamie, what's going on, man? Roll Tide. I just saw something too, real quick, about the Michigan deal. Where'd it go? Kind of more like on the decision that they came up with and why they did. I think I lost it though. Unfortunately, I think I lost it. What was Alabama's punishment? I saw somebody make a comment about Alabama somebody said something like a death penalty because players were selling textbooks. Do you guys remember what that whole situation was? Is that what you were referencing earlier, QD? What was that situation? And what was the punishment? From, what's up? Does anybody know? I'll try to Google it real quick. Ready for some football? Absolutely, man. Sure, we got some more NFL preseason games this week. I'm excited to watch some of those. Texans versus the Panthers. I think that's going to be a good one, man. I'm excited for that one. I don't know if that's today or tomorrow. Dang, y'all see this? Pete Golden said to become one of the highest paid assistant coaches in the conference. What? $2.55 million, man. These coordinators getting paid like head coaches now. Damn. Likely make the former Alabama defensive coordinator the highest paid assistant coach in the SEC. I think that's overall. So I don't even think that's just defensive assistant. Damn. Wow. Ole Miss had the nation's number 2 defense under Golding. 14.4 points allowed. Forfeited some wins for the textbooks. Thank you, Tim. Tim, I appreciate all the answers, man. Thank you. Is that the deal, though? We had to forfeit games because people sold textbooks? What year? Do y'all remember what year that was, or like what time period that was? Was that before Coach Saban? Obviously had to be. That's a dumb question. Was that like early 2000s? Six years. Wait, did you say ban? 6-year ban. Ban or banned? You said banned lost scholarships. You don't actually mean like the band, do you? That'd be crazy.
Manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30 plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding
One in late
Construction at
90s,
205.
early 2000s, someone's killed the program. Huh. Damn. And welcome back in briefly to this Free for All Friday edition of Miller's Edge, title 100.9, 1230. WTBC presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, real quick before we get out of here. We were talking in the chat about the whole textbook scandal from 2001 here. And I didn't even realize we had something like that. And from what I'm reading from you guys in the chat, man, it sounds like, I mean, they threw the hammer down on us and they're talking about some textbooks. So, I mean, the more I learn, the more I realize this Michigan stuff really was a joke. So thank you guys for informing me. Real quick, we'll end on this. QD says, Christian, if you have a defense that has to blitz primarily to get pressure on the quarterback, how does that hurt the defense? Which is a really good question, because we were talking about, like, if you don't necessarily have those home run hitters that you rely on third downs, you typically do have to try to do a by committee approach. And so I'll give you an example. So in when I tore my bicep 2017, not only did I get hurt, Terrell Lewis got hurt. Hell, Rashawn got hurt early on in the year. He came back a lot quicker. Anthony got banged up. We didn't hardly have any outside linebackers. And so what we had to do was, man, you had to throw in a lot of pressures, kind of bring in some safety blitzes and bring in other guys to help provide some pressure. It helps when you have a lot of good players in the back end, more depth there that, you can kind of work with. But that's typically what I mean when I say like other approaches, bringing guys off the edge, like a safety, something like cat blitz here and there, plugging backers, just trying to find ways to bring more pressure than just your traditional, standard rush. That being said, to answer your question, how does that hurt a defense? Just like anything else, when you're overly aggressive, there's a lot more risk of having, explosive plays, especially if your guys don't execute, right? Like, I mean, think about how many times you see like a coordinator will call a good call, but a guy like, say that safety, he's not used to really coming off the edge. He over pursues, you know what I mean? He misses the opportunity. Now you're playing with one less guy, or if they're already anticipating and they pick it up right, you have less guys to cover. So basically, when you're aggressive, you're more vulnerable for, explosive plays or things like that if you don't succeed, right? It's no different than anything, the high risk, high reward type deal. So that being said, that's typically what you expect. So the important thing is, the moral of the story is, if you are going to bring pressure, you're going to be aggressive, you have to execute. If not, you're in trouble, right? Again, high risk, high reward. That being said, we got to get out of here. Two-Town Sports Daily coming up next. Appreciate everybody. Great week here on the show. Looking forward to hopping back on here Monday with you guys. We'll be breaking down scrimmage number 2 again, taking place tomorrow in the stadium. Thanks again for a great week. Looking forward to a great weekend and talking with you guys Monday right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. See you guys then.